happy Tuesday. And did you know that people are more willing to donate to a person than to a cause? This is referred to as the Identifiable victim effect, and is the reasoning behind the famous quote, "The death of one is a tragedy, but the death of a million is a statistic." Which, by the way, is probably falsely attributed to Joseph Stalin. This is one of many interesting and somewhat illogical effects on our behavior and decision making, as I introduce you to the wonderful field of behavioral psychology. Let's get started with the A to Z behavioral biases. For example, the availability heuristic is the tendency for us to overestimate the likelihood of events that have a greater availability in our memories. This explains why arguments such as those for gun control carry a lot more weight immediately after a shooting, even if the general trend of shootings has remained the same. The bandwagon effect, or groupthink or herd mentality, is the tendency for people to believe things simply because other people believe in it, not because of any reasoning on their own part. The belief bias is where someone's evaluation of the logical strength of an argument is greatly affected based on how believable the conclusion is. The bias blind spot is the tendency to see yourself as objective, whereas we evaluate others as suffering from their own biases. The cheerleader effect is an actual cognitive effect in which we perceive people to be more attractive when they travel in groups. Confirmation bias is the tendency to search for, interpret, and remember information that confirms one's own perceptions or beliefs. Hindsight bias, or "I knew it all along," is the tendency to see past events as predictable once those events have actually occurred. The IKEA effect is the tendency for people to place higher value on things that they've partially or wholly helped construct, even if those things have really low value. You know, like IKEA products. Irrational escalation is a phenomenon in which people will increase their investment in something despite evidence saying otherwise, simply because of how much they've invested in it already. This is referred to in the poker world as chasing your chips, or in the world of economics, the sunk cost fallacy. The mere exposure effect is the tendency to express undue liking of something simply because of your familiarity with it. This explains an amazing study which shows that people are more likely to buy from brands, stores, and locations that have the same initials as their own name. This might also explain an interesting trend that states that people in today's workplace make more money by having a shorter and simpler first name. The moral credential is the tendency for people to believe themselves to be more or less upstanding when someone that they associate with is observed doing something good or bad. It explains why social media and the general public can be extremely defensive when it comes to our own politicians and celebrities. If we associate with them, then an insult to their character is a direct judgment on our own. The rhyme as reason effect simply states that whenever something is put to a rhyme, it suddenly becomes more believable. This is really emphasized in Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, in which all of the children and infants are read a number of rhymes to teach them the morality of their society. And finally, I conclude with the unit bias, which is the tendency for people to want to complete a given task or item. This is extremely common in things such as eating, but it also explains why people are a lot more successful when they can take big tasks and break them down into checklists or units. So this is only scratching the surface. Turns out there's more than 60 other behavioral biases and more than 150 other cognitive biases for you to explore. I just thought it'd be cool to share with you that sometimes in life we make choices based on things that aren't helping us at all. I really hope that you enjoy today and the rest of your work week, and I cannot wait to see you real soon. Although, that might just be mere exposure. This is a philosophy hug from me to you, and I'll see you Friday.